Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pages of Ascension. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a monthly Raising the Collective reading. So basically, I'm going to take a look at collective energy and see what the trends are and try to figure out how we can all do our part to raise the collective consciousness. That is the entire point of this reading, is to raise the collective consciousness. So that said, it is not specific to love and relationships or work or anything like that. It's just energies, okay? So, because I haven't, to some extent, decided on a set of decks that I want to use for this reading, pretty much guarantee that every time you see it, there's probably going to be one or two different decks. Just a reminder that the only thing in life that's constant is change. So, learn to accept it and embrace it, and it will be less traumatic when it happens. That said, I was going to use the Healing Light deck, which I always use in the fire sign readings, but I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to use the Psychic Tarot deck this time, and I really like this particular deck because it doesn't have court cards in it. So it's very good when you're just trying to do a reading for yourself or in the viewpoint of first person. I'll put it that way. So just thinking, like, if the goal is to raise the collective consciousness, we need to view the collective consciousness as a being instead of 7 billion beings. So let me get myself all shuffled up here. So I am super excited to do this particular reading. This last month has been an incredible learning experience for me. Didn't always feel good, but a lesson was there nonetheless, so I'm grateful for it. Okay, I think we're good. All right. So I didn't do any pre-shuffle, as you just saw, because I just traded decks at the very last minute. I didn't do any kind of pre-shuffle or anything on this deck before I pulled it out. So I was about to say, it might take a second for cards to come out, but immediately right off the top, we've got the High Priestess card, which is the card of intuition, especially in this deck. I mean, they literally name it intuition. You can see her looking through the looking glass. I like to look at this as, like, imagine this was a piece of black obsidian or moldavite or something, and she's, like, looking into the ether and channeling, and there's this... The doorway to unlock the knowledge that she's seeking in this mirror is right there. You're so close to the precipice of completing whatever it is that you've set out to do. Okay? It's being at one with self, with higher self, with spirit, with your shadow body. It's bringing everything into balance and being still so that you can actually hear and see and feel all the things that you need to. Okay? Okay. So typically with the High Priestess card for me, whenever she comes out, she is effectively saying, there is nothing more I can tell you. There is not anything I can tell you that you don't already know in your heart and in your mind. That thing that you're questioning as to whether it is or it isn't, you already know the answer to that. She can actually be kind of cheeky depending on what comes out next to her. Because typically, if she's coming out, she's not revealing any more secrets because there's no more secrets to reveal. You know, and of course, once again, this is depending on whatever else is on the table. We've got nothing else on the table, and the cards don't seem to want to tell much more. Let's see if I can pull out something else, because that's a super quick reading. If that's the case, I want to at least get to 10 minutes. The collective. What other messages do you have for the collective for the month of April? Transformation. So this is the Death card in this deck. So you know that a change is coming. You can feel yourself transforming. You can feel the situation transforming. If this is something that you didn't want, that's might be why the discontent and boredom is coming up. Oh my gosh, that's so dark. Can you see that any better? Oh my gosh. Okay. Super tiny setup here. Yeah, you're waiting. It's almost like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's what it feels like. Oh, so I think that you might be in a toxic environment too, and that's what's causing the boredom and the discontent that's coming up with the Four of Cups on the bottom of the deck. You're gonna get past this. You're gonna get through this, but it's like in the meantime, you're in so much conflict that you just need to disengage. Just disengage. Like, you'll get your just due in the situation. You need to have hope. It's interesting that I'm getting this, but haters gonna hate. Anyways. So you do definitely feel a transformation coming. It's incoming. It's gonna happen. And it could also be, if this is resonating with you, because what I'm picking up is someone who is very perceptive, or people who are very, very perceptive. Like, they can sense and smell the undercurrents that are going on with the people and situations around them. Okay, and you smell something coming. You do smell a change coming. And it's like you're bored, waiting for the new to begin. It actually, to some extent, it kind of reminds me of myself. I have a habit of, oh, that's interesting. So the High Priestess and the Nine of Cups kind of fell out. I'm not keeping them, but I thought I'd mention that, see if they'll come up again. But, so it kind of reminds me of myself a little bit in what I'll do, just because of the fact that I'm very perceptive. When I sense that something is not going how it should or how it could, pick your tagline there. But when I pick up that something isn't quite right, I usually end up pulling the trigger early on a situation to just cut it off. Like, I don't sit there and wait and let it drag out, because I look at it this way. If I'm perceptive enough to pick up the signs that Spirit is sending me about the situation that is no longer in my highest good, why am I going to sit here and wait for Spirit to take it away? I can cut that off myself. You know what I mean? It's like when you're working, show initiative to get shit done, right? So I look at Spirit or universal energy the same way. Granted, universal energy is universal energy. To some degree, there is destined paths that we're meant to follow. But we do have free will, and we have a free choice. So whether we choose to actually go one path versus another path, that's all on us. So it's like pulling the trigger on a situation early and then waiting for everybody else to catch up, waiting for the ripples to catch up with everything else that's going on, okay? So that's kind of what I'm picking up from those two. Ooh. Stand your ground and universe. Okay, so we definitely have an ending. Oh, I swear, this card was haunting me all last week. I didn't do readings at all last week because I was getting my own series of downloads every single day regarding the situation I'm going through right now, the conflict that I'm going through. But it's interesting because Choose Wisely is a card that's been coming up. So you do have a choice here. In the same sentence, and I say this because of the fact that this is Seven of Wands, your choice is not a choice. Your choice is the illusion of choice. You don't actually have a choice in this situation because the universe is in the driver's seat. You're not in the driver's seat. You're in the passenger seat. You're giving the universe directions on where to go, where to put its energy, where to manifest. But ultimately, right now, you're not driving. Okay? That's what I distinctly pick up. I mean, you've got 3 majors here. The only minor arcana that you've got is the Seven of Swords, which is someone who needs to stand their ground. You hear me? Stand your ground. Perception. Perception is key, I feel like, in this situation. And it's interesting. Like, I wrote down something earlier when I was kind of meditating on doing this reading. And in essence, it was kind of based on like a pattern that I picked up. So there's a study group that I go to, and we're studying, a particular text. And this one is about the perception of people that you run into. So it's, its looks are deceiving, but people like to judge a book by its cover. Let them. It's not your job to make someone check their own ego. It's your job to check your own. Check your own ego, okay? Stand your ground. Are you fighting to grow, or are you fighting to fight? Every time you get upset or angry or irritated or combative, because apparently this is the group that I'm talking to, is those who are very intuitive, but they have that warrior energy about them as well. I can definitely relate to that. But one thing I want you to ask yourself over this next month is, when you're getting angry or combative or defensive over something, are you getting angry to get angry? Are you getting angry over an injustice? Is it a principle, or are you just getting mad to get mad? Are you getting defensive just to be defensive? Are you being defensive because you genuinely feel like you're under attack? And if you're under attack, or you feel like you're under attack, why do you feel like you're under attack? That's the answer to your transformation. That's the answer to your growth. If you can answer that question, you're going to have a much bigger hold on this month and much more control of what you manifest than you can even imagine. Okay? So let's go ahead and move on to other cards and figure out which cards I want to do. Okay, so we're already at 13, so I will keep this kind of short. So I always have 30-minute videos. Got all that Gemini in my chart. I'm a chatterbox. Okay. So pull out the Soul's Journey cards. I love these cards. Simple yet eloquent. 2 to point. Don't actually need a book to learn them. They've got the little mandalas on there. And sacred geometry, which I'm all about that life. Okay. Ooh. So we're going to keep that one. It says trust. And actually, it's interesting because that is the card that is displayed on this deck, is to trust. Okay. I'm still going to draw a card, though, because that's what I do. Self-esteem. Okay, so you need to trust in yourself. And I think that your intuition is telling you this. Okay? I really do think it's telling you this, that you need to trust in yourself. You need to trust what you're picking up. You need to trust your intuition. If things seem off, it's because they're off. Okay? Now, make no mistake, this is different from being angry and reactionary to just be angry and reactionary. But if it's being able to recognize the fine line between being attacked and being triggered. Okay? And that's not something that's very easy to discern sometimes. I think we all can have we all can have a period of time where we're all up in our feelings, and we don't recognize or see where our own faults could be, how we could lead to our own triggers. But if you can figure this out, you have mastered the month of April. I am getting that very distinctly. You have mastered the month of April. You need to stand up for yourself, okay? You need to believe in yourself. And you need to trust that the things that you're picking up are actually what is. The more that you're questioning that, the more that you're throwing away your own blessings. That is what it comes down to, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and finish off with the Sacred Geometry deck for the Visionary Path. These cards are bomb.com. Actually, all the Sacred Geometry cards are bomb.com. I've got 3 different decks. This is kind of the debut for this one. So me hope you likey. We have the Secret Garden. So the Secret Garden So it came up reversed. Effectively, this card is talking about safety and protection. And honestly, based on what's on the board, I think this is just kind of reinforcing what's already on the board for you, that you are safe and protected. And really what it comes down to is that, yeah, you have a choice. You do have a choice. Multiple choices, in fact. It's saying choose wisely for a reason. But please don't mistake needing to choose for thinking that any choice that you make is wrong. Any choice that you make in this situation is right. It's leading you to exactly where you need to be. It's putting you in exactly the position that you need to be for the lesson that's on deck. Now, whether that lesson on deck is to help you raise your vibration or understand why you're at a low vibration, that's for each individual person, and that's way too many people for me to try to pick up on. I am only one person, okay? But ultimately, what it does come down to is that it doesn't matter what you pick, you're right. Okay? So that is all that I've got for you. Happy April. Happy, Aries fire season. Yay, because I am totally first house Aries all the way. Got that fire. Got my fire babies out there. All right, so that's all I've got for you for this month. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for up and coming new content. Definitely leave me a comment. I want to know how this resonates with you and how things are going for you. And yeah, that's it for now. So I will see you either mid-April or mid-May. I do these particular ones when I'm called to. So definitely want to subscribe so you can see when that is. Okay. All right. Bye.